Hey everyone, I'm back with another video. This time I'll be talking about the item Smoke of Deceit. Smoke is a very powerful item and it is used in pretty much every pro game, but there is a definite underuse and misuse in pubs. This video will go over some of Smoke of Deceit's mechanics and give some tips on how to use Smoke effectively. I'm not going to pretend I'm a pro on Smoke, but I do have a fair bit of experience with it, so hopefully this video can help you guys with your Smoke usage. Let's begin with a quick overview of the item. Smoke of Deceit is a consumable item that can be purchased from the shop for 100 gold, and there is a max stock of 3 smokes. It refreshes at a cooldown of once every 12 minutes, meaning smoke charges are a scarce resource throughout the game. A good support will try to make sure that smoke is always restocking, just like they do with Observer Wards. Upon activation, Smoke of Deceit will give all allied heroes and all allied hero units in a 1200 AoE a buff called Smoke of Deceit. This buff increases movement speed by 15% and conceals them from the map. Concealing them from the map means that upon activating Smoke, units will turn invisible and your mini-map marker will be removed. You will also not be revealed by any kind of vision, including True Sight, much like when you're in Slark's ultimate. However, if you attack something, or come within 1025 range of a hero or a tower, your Smoke will be dispelled. You can also cast spells and items in Smoke. However, your opponent will be able to see these spell animations. Smoke is not dispelled by enemy hero illusions or hero units, only by the hero itself. This includes invisible heroes as well. The smoke buff lasts a total of 35 seconds, and has a cooldown of 90 seconds, which is why sometimes you see people using the courier to activate Smoke. The fact that Smoke of Deceit conceals you from the map allows you to avoid enemy observer wards, and allows you to have the element of surprise when engaging your opponents for ganks, teamfights, or Roshan. Smoke can also be used to dodge some projectiles and spells, much like any other form of invisibility. This can be useful for avoiding things like Zeus ult or tower hits when retreating from a dive. Now that I've gone over some of the mechanics, there are 3 components of Smoke usage I'll be going over. When to use Smoke, where to use Smoke, and how to move when you are smoked. Let's start with where to use Smoke. Obviously, the biggest advantage of using Smoke is the element of surprise. So you want to use Smoke out of vision of the enemy, usually behind your towers, or in a place you are 100% certain the enemy does not have vision of. Another important thing is to make sure that when you smoke, you should try to keep your lanes pushed. If creeps are hitting your T3 tower and no one is there defending, it's going to be fairly obvious that your team is smoking. You want smokes to be as unexpected as possible. Also, be careful of Smoke's 1200 AoE, which is fairly large. One mistake that I see a lot of supports have is that when they smoke, they'll smoke outside the lane, but they misjudge the smoke AoE, and accidentally smoke their carry in the lane, giving away the smoke. There's also a noticeable animation effect when smoked, which can be spotted if opponents happen to be looking near you, so make sure when smoking, not to smoke too close to where the enemy has vision. You also want to make sure that you're not too far away from your objective. If you want to gank someone farming at the dire top T2 tower, you wouldn't want to smoke at the radiant bottom T1 tower, as it would take a very long time to get there. However, don't underestimate the 15% movement speed bonus. In most cases, you can get where you want to go before smoke runs off, as long as you have boots. Next is when to smoke. Generally, you want to smoke when you have a clear place you want to get to, or a clear objective. Maybe you want to do an early gank on the enemy mid-hero to secure the lane, or you know the enemy lone druid is about to get his relic, so you want to gank him. Or you got a blink dagger on Magnus, so you want to force a team fight. Or maybe even just a medallion on a support and you want to get Roshan, without the enemy knowing. Knowing when to go for smokes is something that comes with experience and game sense, and it's probably one of the most difficult parts of using smoke effectively. Keep in mind that an unsuccessful smoke not only wastes 100 gold, it also wastes quite a bit of time that can be spent pushing or farming. Whether it's an early gank, a sneak rush, or a wraparound out of your base to surprise an enemy team that's pushing, the key to successful smoke usage is having a goal, especially in pubs where the communication is quite poor. In addition to having a plan, having vision will help make smokes very effective. Knowing exactly where the enemy heroes are positioned can help set up successful teamfights or ganks, allowing you to flank their team and pick off supports before a fight starts. Remember, the biggest advantage of using smoke is the surprise factor. There's little point to smoking if your team is just as surprised to see the enemy as they are to see you. Then you're basically just rolling the dice and praying for them to be in a bad position. One of the biggest advantages smoke gives you is that you will be able to see the enemy before they see you. Smoke's break range is 1025, but the vision range of most heroes is 1800 during the day, so you have a vision advantage of almost 800 range, which guarantees that you will have the element of surprise. It is important to note that this vision range disappears at night, unless you have some other form of vision like wards or creeps, or you're a hero with above average night vision, as most heroes only have 800 vision range at night. Because of this, smoking at night is generally not as effective as smoking during the day, as sometimes your smoke will break and you won't know where the enemy is. Finally, I want to talk about how to move when smoked. This is something a lot of players aren't too great with. One important thing when smoked is that your initiator should almost always be the one in front. This is someone with an instant disable or the closest thing to it, who can fully take advantage of the surprise factor that smoke gives you. You should also try to avoid walking uphill as much as possible if you don't have vision of the area, as the enemy will be able to see you before you see them, not only wasting the smoke but putting you at a huge disadvantage. Be extremely careful when walking up hills, and if your smoke pops at the bottom of a hill, do not go up the hill. Generally, sticking to the lanes and rotating into your target from the closest point in lane is the best way to move in smoke. Not only do you avoid most ramps, but you also give your opponent a false sense of security if they have creep vision in the lanes. Now I want to go over two quick replays showcasing some smoke usage. This first one is from Speed vs DK in Game 1 of the MLG Columbus Grand Finals. At this point in the game, Speed is being pressured by DK. DK has a bit more map control than Speed, and is looking to push, but their Aegis is just about to run out. Knowing this, Speed smokes up in base and looks to catch DK out when they're vulnerable. Notice how careful they are when they start walking up this hill right here. They slow down and make sure their smoke does not pop before going up. Also note that the two instant disables are in the front, Arteezy with his Hex and EE with Doom. However, DK senses something is up and position themselves very well, but due to the smoke they have no idea where Speed is coming from. As a result, Clockwork and Earthshaker are completely cut off from the rest of the team, and Speed manages to take the Bear and a Clockwork. It wasn't a perfect smoke gank, as Speed had no idea where DK's position was, so the fight could have turned out a lot differently, but they knew the Aegis was down and it was an ideal time to force a team fight, thus they forced the smoke. The second replay is from a pub match I played a while ago. This is a 5-stack versus a 5-stack at a decently high MMR, so the communication on both teams should be fairly good. The game is even at this point, and Radiant decides to smoke up in their jungle to hunt for ganks. First thing you should notice is the Invoker wasn't even in smoke range, which is actually important as he walked right into a Sentry and Observer. Next, watch them try to move towards our jungle. Venge goes mid while the rest of the team goes up towards the bot rune. They aren't properly positioned at all for a team fight. If one suddenly breaks out, they'll be at a huge disadvantage. Here, they group up and try to go up into our jungle. But watch what happens. Vengeful and Bloodseeker try to go up this ramp, but their smoke pops right here. Notice how we see them, but they don't see us, and the rest of their heroes are all the way to this side, so they're in no position to help out. They don't back and they go walk up right up the ramp, and as you can see, we just instantly wipe them and they have to back off. That's it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something useful about Smoke of Deceit. Feel free to leave comments and suggestions below, and subscribe if you want to. I'll be uploading videos on a regular basis from now on, hopefully at least once a week. Tell me if you have any requests. Again, thanks for watching, and this is GGNG signing out.